Combating evil in our time. That's the focus of today's preamble. Unlike the corrupt press, the Chris Salcedo Show, an opinion show, remains staunchly opposed to racism wherever it rears its ugly head. Unlike the press, we don't seek to hide Democrats' racism. Rather, we choose to expose this part of their ideology. Failed border czar Kamala Harris said that Hurricane Ian relief efforts should focus on, quote, giving resources based on equity, end quote, to communities of color. This racist statement, condoning racial preferences in government, was quickly disavowed by FEMA and blasted by Florida's conservative governor. Though I would like to have seen Governor Ron DeSantis take a more vigorous and principled stand against such racist policy being pushed by the Biden regime, he normally isn't so reserved, but to be fair, his state has just been hit hard, walloped by a massive natural disaster, so his attention is likely on helping all Floridians, regardless of their color of skin, in stark contrast to Harris, who suggested treating white people like lesser human beings. Speaking of the treating people as lesser human beings thing, the so-called Speaker of the House said the quiet part out loud, suggesting that illegal aliens be kept in red states like Florida so they can pick the crops.
We have a shortage of workers in our country, and you see even in Florida, some of the farmers and the growers saying, why are you shipping these immigrants up north? We need them to pick the crops down here. But that doesn't mean that we don't recognize our moral responsibility as well.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack with her statement there. First, Pelosi refuses to acknowledge that the people she's referencing are being allowed to come into the United States illegally. Secondly, she suggests that these people who come from countries dominated by the Democrat mindset are good for one thing, and one thing only: picking crops. Intelligent humans, like we conservatives, know that there is no race that is predisposed to breaking U.S. law and coming to America illegally. We conservatives also know that one's legal status or skin color doesn't pigeonhole one into any particular line of work or profession. Communists, on the other hand, do believe this. That's why in left-wing dominated countries, the government tells you what profession you must study and work in for the greater good, they say. But if the Democrats' alignment with communists, well, and their thought isn't enough to alarm you, perhaps this is. Democrats will admit that their illegal immigration push is designed to usher in what they call the browning of America.
America is browning. In 2008, the Pew Research Center projected that by 2050, America will no longer have any single racial group that constitutes a majority.
You see, my friends, the Democrats have a theory. It goes something like this. If a person's skin is pigmented, they must be socialists or communists. They are reinforcing this insane idea in their political gatherings. They are teaching this racist notion in our schools, a fact that has been revealed in the BLM and Antifa riots that this nation has suffered under for years.
We need a revolution in order to overthrow this system, bring a whole new communist world into being that can actually ensure the rights of black and brown people. And whether or not you agree, or if you still are caught up in this electoral politics bullshit, even if you are, even your hopes for a more progressive or liberal agenda are not going to happen while the second president of the Confederacy is in the White House. Let's work together to tear that statue down.
Revolution, nothing less.
Revolution, nothing less. And even though outlets like CBS, air quotes, news, and dishonest Democrats like to blame the conservative right for promoting this agenda, what they call replacement theory, it has been exclusively the left who has been pushing this false racist narrative.
It seems harder and harder to ignore that the echoes of replacement theory and other racially motivated views are increasingly coming out into the open.
In a few years, we're going to be a majority brown country. White people will not be the majority in the country anymore.
This will be the first generation ever in American history in which whites will be a minority of the generation at some point.
As of 2007, every year, babies being born in this country, whites now are the minority.
In 2044,
everyone is going to be a minority.
As the demographics change, as white people become the minority in the country, which is coming.
Demographics is destiny. Demographics is destiny.
Demographics is destiny, right? The country is changing.
I've been saying it here. Other people have been saying it here for years now, even before Donald Trump. The demographics is destiny.
The white population is declining for the first time in history in America, while the number of multiracial Americans have more than doubled.
So we live in a country where the demographics are changing. It's becoming less white.
Correct.
A note to the folks over at CBS, my friends, none of those folks were Republicans or conservatives. You know, racism divides, false narratives divide, Democrats divide. It's the only way they survive as a political force in America. In a United States, this version of the Democrat Party would wither and die. And you know what it deserves to? Minorities are the ones that pay the price for the Democrats' scorched earth tactics, their narrative over facts, their divisive racism. But here's the truth. People of color are pushing back, from the Great Awakening in the black community to the rise of the liberty-loving Latino. Telemundo polling reveals that the Democrats' racist and divisive party is being rejected by those who want better for their children. A new NBC Telemundo poll shows that Latino support for the Democrat Party has dropped by 50% in the last 10 years. In 2012, Latinos preferred a Democrat-led Congress over Republicans by 42 points. Now that difference has dropped to 21 points, largely driven by the Democrats' failed U.S. economy and the Democrats' promotion of destructive and harmful illegal immigration. The left wing, at home, united with their communist brethren abroad, are presenting mankind with unprecedented challenges, challenges that threaten our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. The only answer that is up in the air at this point is, will lovers of liberty, freedom, and prosperity rise to meet the challenge, or has Western civilization withered and decayed to the point where we can't defend ourselves any longer? Here's the one thing I do know. The time for indifference, long gone. Back to that chessboard that was in my head. Will our knights and our pawns allow the West to be checkmated by this well-coordinated evil of our time? Or will the sleeping giant, the silent masses, finally get engaged? If they do, we have a chance because we outnumber them.